What really makes someone, what compels them to just lay bare their most vulnerable experiences?
Yeah, or even like their past mistakes, maybe even a criminal past.
Exactly.
Yeah,
In the public eye, which can be so, so unforgiving. It's a huge question.
it really is.
And today on the deep dive, we're really going to plunge headfirst into that very question. We're exploring this complex world of, online trust, deception,
Hmm.
and maybe most importantly, the extraordinary courage it sometimes takes to confront these things head on.
And what makes this deep dive, well, pretty unique, I think, is
Yeah.
where we're getting our insights from. It's not like some meticulously edited documentary or a formal research paper.
Right, not the usual polished sources.
Not at all. Instead, it's drawn from this raw, unscripted, live conversation. It actually unfolded in a Twitter
A
space.
live Twitter space. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like listening in on a real-time, completely unfiltered exchange between people who haven't just observed this stuff.
Hmm.
They've actively navigated, the really treacherous waters of online scams.
And that's precisely the strength here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hearing directly from those who've lived it.
Exactly.
We're talking about individuals who have genuinely been there, not just observers, but victims who've suffered really profound betrayal, reformed perpetrators who, well, once used deception as a weapon,
Right.
and also proactive advocates who are now, fighting on the front lines against this stuff.
Yeah.
So our mission today is really to unpack the personal motivations, the often surprising experiences of these people, and particularly focus on how their willingness to be vulnerable, to be open,
On this unknown platform, too.
on an unknown public platform,
Yeah.
how that led to such profound insights and maybe ultimately a unique form of collective defense against these digital threats.
And we really need to pay special attention to the personality of the space's host, Alberto,
Okay.
and how his, let's say, unique approach fostered such an environment of, well, candor and really courageous sharing.
Right, because creating that safe space online is crucial.
Absolutely. And the dynamic nature of the source material itself, a live Twitter space, it had technical glitches, unexpected questions popping up.
Like real life.
Exactly. It just added to its authenticity, mirroring the unpredictable nature of online interactions themselves. So hopefully you'll feel like you're right there with us, digging into these surprising facts and meaningful connections.
Okay, so where do we start to unravel this? You mentioned Alberto, the host. It sounds like it all begins with him, and actually a pretty relatable experience.
Yeah, it does. He found himself just bombarded by DMs, direct messages
Oh, yeah?
from seemingly, hot women trying to hit on me, as he put it.
Right, okay, I think many people can relate to getting those sorts of messages. What was his reaction?
Well, initially it was a mix of humor and disbelief. He actually thought, and this is a quote, "Oh my God, am I so lucky or what?"
Okay, so a bit of playful skepticism there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a passing thought. He really embraced this initial skepticism with a humorous, almost playful approach. He said he initially started playing with those people just to see what did they want.
So like a casual experiment.
Pretty much, like a casual experiment just to understand the mechanics behind these unsolicited advances. It wasn't, a serious investigation at first, more like pure curiosity, a bit of digital reconnaissance, if you will.
But then something shifted, right? It went from playful to something more serious.
Exactly. That playful experimentation, it quickly led to this profound aha moment for him. He realized this wasn't just a few random incidents.
Oh.
It was a pervasive problem. He observed, I realized it was really bubbling. I was tired of that.
Yeah, you see it everywhere once you start looking.
Right. And he was thinking, okay, what's going on? I mean, how many people actually pay attention to this? And this realization, combined with finding TV shows like Catfish, which explore online deception,
Oh, yeah, catfish.
that really ignited his interest in understanding this, well, darker side of virtual relationships.
That makes sense. So the curiosity turned into a more focused interest.
Yeah.
How did that translate into the Twitter space itself? Did he start it with this serious intent?
Well, what's really intriguing is how his approach evolved. He initially created a space about romance, a scam that was actually not serious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he intended it in a sarcastic and ironic way.
Okay, so starting with humor again.
Right. But then it quickly transitioned into a serious discussion platform, and the turning point was quite serendipitous. It wasn't planned.
How so?
As he put it was not planified or anything, and it happened that some people appeared that had certain different fields of expertise related to the topic that, wow, were really amazing to have them here there.
Wow. So experts just showed up.
Yeah, this unplanned convergence of victims, former criminals, experts in different fields, they just joined the conversation. And that gave the space this organic depth, simply because Alberto was willing to open up that forum.
And that brings us back to Alberto himself. A huge part of why these diverse, maybe often vulnerable voices felt comfortable sharing, especially on an unknown public platform like a Twitter space, must have been his unique personality, right? And his, well, you call it a radical approach to transparency.
Absolutely. He seems to live by this philosophy. In order to know the enemy, you have to see the enemy.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
Well, he backs it up with incredibly candid admissions. Like, he openly talked about using Bumpy for dating online in order to play around and see how it is really they're going on all this world of meeting people online.
So he wasn't just observing from afar, he was jumping in.
Right. He's right there on the digital front lines, you could say. Albeit, he'd argue, with a self-aware, calculated risk.
Calculated risk. How does he explain that?
He emphasizes it. He says, I play with a buyer, but okay, always controlling and first of all understanding what the risk I am exposed and accepting that or not.
Okay, so awareness of the danger, but still engaging.
Exactly. And this radical openness, it extends to sharing profound personal details. He says, I share a lot of things about me, my life, and why. I do it for a purpose that I want actually to people believe and on show that I am genuine.
He wants people to see he's authentic.
Yeah. He even makes this striking, almost provocative statement to highlight his accountability. He basically told listeners, if you have a problem with me, you know where to find me. I have no problem with that.
Wow. That's incredibly direct.
It is. And that level of directness, that willingness to be completely exposed, it's rare. And it absolutely commands a certain kind of trust. You know, it invites others to be equally open.
And it sounds like he doesn't just talk about transparency, he lives it, even when it comes to his own, let's say, imperfections or past mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. He candidly confesses about his own cybersecurity experiences. He said, and this is a direct quote, I have been hacked.
Okay.
I've even hacked myself out of curiosity, once infecting myself with a rat tea.
A rat, right, a remote access Trojan. Nasty stuff.
Very nasty. He continues, I have been victim of hacking, and yeah, I have reduced credentials that could be, have used it to, I have actually, okay, I will say this. I have actually put in risk my work when I executed that RAT.
Whoa, putting his work at risk. That's a major admission.
It really is. And this level of directness about his own imperfections, it's disarming, isn't it? He stresses his belief, saying whoever claims he's an expert, can never be hacked. But wow, my respects, I'm not that kind of person.
That humility is so relatable. It shows that even people deep in this field can make missteps. The key is learning and sharing, I guess.
Exactly, learning and sharing.
And you mentioned his personal stake in online trust. There's an anecdote about his fiancée.
Yes, and it's really compelling. It connects all this back to the real world. He met her online.
Okay.
And she showed this immense level of trust by actually coming to meet him in Uruguay, where he lives.
Well, from where?
He didn't specify where she came from originally in this clip, but the key point was she came without telling her family or friends initially, just trusting him completely based on their online connection.
That is a huge leap of faith. How did he feel about that?
He describes his own anxiety about her safety. He actually tried to get her to share his passport and phone bill with her family.
His details.
Yeah, his details with her family, just to ensure they knew she was safe when she arrived, and had ways to verify him or contact him if needed.
That's fascinating. It shows his awareness of the risks, even when he was the one being trusted.
Precisely. It powerfully underscores his personal connection to both the risks and the potential rewards of online trust. It shows he genuinely believes in the possibility of real connection, even amongst all the dangers.
So pulling it all together, what's the driving force behind his commitment to hosting these spaces, to being so open?
His core motivation seems to stem from this deep belief that by sharing experiences, especially the difficult ones, victims or people who've learned lessons can protect other people. We can, help others. And is very gratifying.
Helping others is the key motivator.
It seems to be. And this unique blend he has, the humor, the profound transparency, the deeply personal stake, it creates this really approachable, trustworthy, and engaging environment for discussing such sensitive topics.
Right. His willingness to be vulnerable, to be direct, it encourages others to do the same. It sets the tone.
Exactly. It really highlights how his personal courage to just go public, flaws and all, became the bedrock for this platform of collective vulnerability and learning. It demonstrates a really unique kind of, let's call it, digital bravery.
Digital bravery, I like that. And this willingness to be open, even about really traumatic experiences. It sounds like that's a shared thread among the other guest speakers, too.
Oh, absolutely. It really exemplifies what it means to take the courage in the digital age, as you put it. Let's start with Anna Rowe. Her story is particularly poignant.
Okay, Anna Rowe, what was her experience?
She was a victim of a very specific type of romance fraud. And the motives, as she clearly states, were not money economical.
Not about money. That's unusual for romance scams, isn't it?
It is. Her abuser was actually a lawyer in the UK, leading a double life. He used a fake identity to hunt for women online.
A lawyer. Good grief. What were his motives then?
According to Anna, they were primarily sexual motives, and chillingly, he got a kick out of the power and control. She mentioned she knows of at least 17 women he abused this way.
17 women. That's horrific. How did she cope with that?
Well, her decision in the face of this trauma is truly transformative. Instead of being consumed by it, she decided to, quote, use that traumatic situation to actually turn into something positive
Oh,
and start doing things in order to prevent other people from suffering from that and protect those who've been affected by that.
wow. That's immense resilience, turning personal pain into advocacy.
It really is a powerful drive to make good out of something terrible.
And you mentioned her joining Alberto's space. Was she familiar with that kind of platform?
Well, what's especially noteworthy here is that despite her extensive experience she mentioned doing other speaking and podcasts, Anna emphasized that this Twitter space was her first space ever.
Her first time on that specific platform.
Yeah, which highlights her willingness to step into an unknown platform, embrace new avenues for her cause. It shows a deep commitment that really transcends her own personal comfort zones. She was willing to take that leap for her message.
That definitely fits the theme of courage. And what about her advocacy work?
Her organization champions a no blame, no shame mantra.
No blame, no shame. Why is that important?
It directly combats the pervasive societal stigma around online victimization. She stresses that victims are so isolated and ashamed when they're actually victims of a crime because of the way society blame them.
Right, that victim blaming is such a huge barrier.
It is. So creating that no blame, no shame environment is crucial for enabling people to come forward, to share their stories, and to foster that atmosphere of collective support we talked about.
Okay, so from a victim turned advocate, who else shared their story? You mentioned a reformed perpetrator.
Yes, and this is quite a name, Brett Johnson.
Brett Johnson.
Yeah.
Rings a bell, but remind me.
Well, the United States Secret Service apparently called him the original internet godfather.
The original internet godfather. Okay, that's quite a title. What's his story?
His past is astonishing. He listed 39 felonies being placed on the United States most wanted list, even an escape from prison.
Escape from prison. Seriously.
Yeah, and he built what he described as the first organized cybercrime community called Shadow Crew.
Shadow Crow. Okay, I remember hearing about that. So a major figure in early cybercrime. What's he doing now?
That's the remarkable pivot. He now states, I worked my ass off to protect businesses and consumers from that type of attacker that I used to be.
Wow. From godfather to protector. That's
Yeah.
quite the transformation. What prompted that shift?
It's a really interesting point. What leads someone who mastered deception to switch sides so completely? His crucial realization about his past didn't happen overnight, or even necessarily when he was caught.
No.
No. He said, it wasn't until I started to turn my life around and started to interact with victims that I started to understand the damage that I had done.
Interacting with victims. That was the key.
It seems so. That personal epiphany, really understanding the human cost, that's what underlines his motivation for transparency now. It gives him this unique vantage point, having been on the other side.
That's powerful. That it took that direct human connection for the gravity to really sink in. Does he share any specific insights from that unique perspective?
He does, and some are quite counterintuitive. He challenges the conventional wisdom that simply raising awareness doesn't mean that you're going to somehow protect yourself.
Wait, isn't awareness usually seen as the first line of defense?
Yeah.
Why does he say it falls short?
Well, he argues, from his experience, that criminals are better at committing crime than the common person on the street is at protecting themselves against that crime.
Oof. That's a sobering thought.
It is.
Right.
He understands the dedication, the skill, the 200-4/7 nature of that criminal lifestyle.
Mhm.
So for him, just being aware isn't enough against a determined, skilled attacker.
So if awareness isn't the silver bullet, what does he emphasize?
His most urgent plea, drawing directly from his own criminal experience, is for victims to report crimes.
Report, report, report.
Yes.
Yeah.
He states it so powerfully. Not reporting or not calling the police on me resulted in me keeping on going because what consequences did I have? None.
Wow. Hearing that from him.
Right. He emphasizes the emboldening effect of unpunished crime. Reporting isn't just about justice for one person, it's about preventing future victims, interrupting that criminal sense of impunity. It's critical data.
Okay, so we have Anna the advocate, Brett, the reformed criminal.
Yeah.
Who else was in this space?
Next up, we have someone known as Spider. He was introduced as a black hat activist.
A black hat. So, operating outside the law.
Pretty much, he's apparently been deeply involved in the anonymous movement since way back, like 2009.
Okay. And what does he do? Is it related to scams?
His methods are, as you said, definitely outside the usual legal lines. Ethically complex, controversial.
How so?
He actively engages in catching predators and traffickers. He talked about using bait software or stealers, essentially malware on platforms like Roblox,
Using malware on Roblox to do what?
to identify and expose malicious actors. He even mentioned catching other hackers that's using stealers on other children.
Oh, fighting fire with fire, it sounds like. That's definitely risky.
Hugely risky. And Spider explicitly acknowledges the illegality and the potential personal danger. He said, I've been doing it since 2011 when it comes to like getting caught because I'm doing something illegal to help the people. I've been doing it since 2011.
He's been doing this illegal work for over a decade, and he's open about it.
Seems so. His core, unwavering belief is simple. Exposing on what needs to be exposed to the public no matter what.
Why take that risk? What's his justification?
It seems to reflect a deep frustration with, let's say, systemic failures. He sharply observes that those who are supposed to do those good things are not doing their jobs, and somebody else has to do what's right.
So he sees himself as stepping into a void left by official channels.
That appears to be his perspective. His courage lies in taking these significant personal risks for what he perceives as the greater good.
Okay, a black hat activist. That's a different angle entirely. Who else?
Finally, we turn to Scorpio. And her story powerfully illustrates the vulnerability of even, well, technically aware individuals.
How so? What happened to Scorpio?
She shared this really poignant story of being targeted by a stolen valor scammer.
Stolen valor.
Yeah.
Someone faking military service.
Exactly. Falsely claiming military service or achievements to gain trust. And this happened right after her father's death, and her father was a Vietnam veteran.
Oh, no. So she was targeted during a period of intense grief.
Precisely. It highlights how emotional states can tragically override even deep-seated expertise or awareness.
Did she have technical expertise?
Yes, that's the compelling part. Even with cybersecurity certification, she actually said, I'm also certified in cybersecurity, so I could put myself in positions because I know how to protect myself.
So she knew the risks, technically.
She knew the technical risks, but she admitted that emotional vulnerability, what she described as tending to react emotionally to things, made her a target. Because, as she put it, it becomes much easier for me to manipulate you.
That makes sense. Emotion clouds judgment.
It does, and her crucial warning was about the unseen danger of seemingly innocuous personal details. Things shared across various online spaces, maybe over years,
Yeah.
can be meticulously pieced together by predators to, in her words, put a target on me.
Wow. So it's not just about one interaction. It's about your entire digital footprint being weaponized.
Exactly. It's a powerful lesson. No amount of technical knowledge can fully insulate you from human manipulation, especially when you're emotionally compromised. It really drives home the insidious, patient nature of some of these attacks.
That's a gut-wrenching truth, isn't it? It just shows how even the most technically savvy among us are fundamentally human. And those emotional vulnerabilities are precisely what scammers hunt for. So if we distill all these personal narratives, Anna, Brett, Spider, Scorpio, and Alberto, setting the stage, what's the common thread?
Despite these vastly different backgrounds and experiences, the victim, the reformed criminal, the ethical hacker, the cybersecurity expert, their shared willingness to openly discuss their struggles, their hard-won insights
Yeah.
on a public platform, an unknown one for some, It's just a profound testament to their bravery, their resilience, and this collective commitment to helping others.
It really does exemplify taking the courage in the digital age, creating this powerful collective voice that resonates far beyond what any single person could achieve alone.
Absolutely.
Okay, so with these individual stories as a backdrop, let's zoom out a bit. Let's dig into the broader mechanics of digital trust and deception. Where does it start?
Well, it really begins with a fundamental human trait, our predisposition to trust. As humans, we're fundamentally, wired to trust.
Wired for trust. How so?
Think about everyday life. We trust that doctors have their qualifications, that, as one speaker put it, the food that's on the supermarket shelves hasn't been poisoned.
Right, you can't function without some baseline level of trust.
Exactly. There are countless aspects of our daily lives where we simply have to trust. And this natural inclination, this cornerstone of society, is precisely what sophisticated scammers relentlessly exploit. They turn our inherent trust into a profound vulnerability.
And this is where the psychological aspect really takes center stage, isn't it?
Hmm.
Targeting those emotional vulnerabilities.
Precisely. Scammers specifically target emotional weak points. They understand that certain emotional states, grief, loneliness, or what psychologists sometimes call hot states, moments of intense emotional arousal.
Hot states.
Yeah, they make individuals more susceptible to manipulation. This is exactly where relationship schemes come in, because they operate squarely on emotion, creating illusions of friendship or romance.
So when you're in that hot state, your logical defenses are down.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Your cognitive biases might be heightened, making you an easier target because critical thinking gets momentarily sidelined by that strong emotional need or response.
And the tactics scammers use, they're not just quick hits, are they? They're evolving.
Oh, constantly evolving. It's a relentless technological arms race in the digital underworld. Scammers invest significant time and effort, sometimes months or a year, just to get to know their targets.
Months or a year, that's serious commitment.
It is. It's about building deep trust, gathering information. Brett emphasized this isn't just a job. It's a criminal lifestyle for a reason. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's a crime of opportunity.
Always vigilant, always looking for that opening.
Always.
And the technology they're using now, AI, deepfakes, it sounds like science fiction, but it's real, isn't it?
Terrifyingly real. And the implications are chilling. Voices can be cloned with disturbing ease from maybe just 30 seconds of someone's voice taken from a video online.
Just 30 seconds, that's all it takes.
Apparently. And then there's face swap or shallow fake technology. This is used for live video calls.
Live calls, how does that work?
They superimpose a stolen or synthetic face over the scammer's actual face, often with lip syncing to make it appear authentic.
So you could be on a video call, seeing a face you trust, hearing a voice you recognize.
Exactly. Imagine them saying something like, "Just so that you know I'm not a scammer," and using your name to personalize it to make it seem legitimate.
That's deeply unsettling. Has the tech gotten good?
That's the scary part. What
Yeah.
once looked pretty cartoonish has become incredibly realistic. Those old safeguards, like asking someone to turn their head or make a specific gesture on video, they're becoming largely ineffective.
Because the fakes can mimic those movements now.
Increasingly, yes. The speed of improvement in this AI technology is what's particularly alarming.
So what's next? What does the near future hold? You mentioned Brett had a prediction.
He did, and it's a dire one. He said, 18 months from now, that game is going to look completely different.
18 months. That's
Yeah.
very soon. What changes does he foresee?
He predicts a terrifying shift away from just stealing existing identities
Towards what?
towards entirely synthetically created profiles generated purely through AI. Fake people, essentially, built from scratch.
Wow. AI-generated identities.
And the potential for real-time conversation with undetectable deepfakes.
Yeah.
He believes it will lead to a society where we're not being able to trust anything that they see or hear.
That's a fundamental challenge to our perception of reality. Does he think this is just for romance scams?
No, he warns it extends far beyond that, impacting business email compromise, account takeovers, really any type of motivation for criminal activity where identity and trust are paramount. It could undermine trust across the board.
So if deepfakes become undetectable, what happens to the tools we use now to verify people online, like reverse image search?
They're rapidly becoming obsolete. Google reverse image search, once pretty useful for spotting stolen photos, is now virtually pointless.
Why pointless?
Partly due to privacy legislation making it harder to track images, but also the sophistication of AI. It can generate unique faces or subtly alter existing ones just enough to evade detection.
So the old tricks don't work anymore. What are people using now?
The reliance seems to be shifting towards paid services, like using AI to measure the markers on the face, or needing really tenacious manual searching for tiny clues within photos, like a visible username on a shirt or background detail, to try and find the real person whose images were stolen.
It sounds like an exhausting uphill battle for anyone just trying to verify who they're talking to.
It really is. It forces this constant arms race between legitimate verification efforts and increasingly advanced deception techniques.
Okay, so the scams are sophisticated, hard to detect. What happens when someone does fall victim? You mentioned victim blaming earlier.
Yes, and it's a pervasive and deeply damaging problem. It compounds the initial trauma. Society's tendency to blame the victim often manifests in those questions like, why would you click on that link? Or why would you send money to someone you don't know?
Implying it's their fault.
Exactly. And this judgment, this lack of empathy, it often leads to victims shutting off their traditional support groups, friends, family. They become isolated.
And who do they talk to then?
Often only the scammer, who then becomes their sole, twisted source of support, further deepening the manipulation. Brett powerfully argued that this isolation and societal judgment is a huge shame on society.
What's the impact of victims staying silent because of this shame or blame?
The impact is profound and far-reaching. We heard the statistic that only maybe 7% to 14% of victims actually report these crimes.
Below, wow.
Yeah, incredibly low. And that lack of reporting prevents law enforcement from understanding the true scale of the crime. They just don't have the data.
And for the criminals?
Critically, it emboldens them, because they face no consequences, as Brett put it. It allows them to continue, even escalate their activities, preying on more and more unsuspecting individuals. It creates this vicious cycle that's incredibly hard to break without comprehensive data and victims feeling safe enough to come forward.
Which brings us to systemic failures. Are law enforcement and the platforms themselves doing enough?
Well, there was certainly criticism voiced in the space. Regarding law enforcement, there's a critique that priorities might be misplaced sometimes, focusing on, say, young boys and girls who are often just lower-level mules or entry-level scammers.
Instead of the organizers.
Instead of the top people that are doing the really, really bad things, the implication being there's a hierarchy, and these top people are like the employers of the lower-level scammers, often operating with relative impunity.
Making it hard to dismantle the networks.
Very hard. It creates a challenging environment for real justice when the architects of the schemes often remain untouched.
And what about the platforms? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, dating apps. Are they verifying users effectively? Removing fakes?
The verdict in the space was pretty damning. The failure to adequately verify the identity of their users and remove fake or hacked accounts was described as, frankly, utterly ridiculous.
Strong words. Any examples?
Alberto shared his own frustrating experience. His verified Twitter account was impersonated, and the fake account remained active despite multiple reports from him and others.
His own verified account. Impersonated. And Twitter didn't remove it?
Not promptly, no.
Okay.
There was also an example given of a verified fake profile using Kevin Costner's pictures that remained online for some time.
Kevin Costner. Okay. It speaks to a fundamental flaw in verification and oversight, doesn't it?
It really does. And it's disturbingly easy, apparently. Someone mentioned accounts can be bought for as little as 25 cents with a verified badge included.
25 cents for a verified account.
That was the claim. It creates this endless cycle. As one speaker noted, if Instagram and Facebook and all these platforms are trying to knock down all these scams, there's always the next scam on how to bypass that other scam.
A constant game of cat and mouse, and the platforms seem perpetually a step behind.
That's the impression, yeah.
Okay, so the challenges are immense. Evolving tech, psychological manipulation, victim blaming, systemic failures. With all this, what can people actually do?
Yeah.
Are there concrete strategies for protection and advocacy?
Yes, absolutely. While the battle is constant, there are things individuals and communities can do. First, individual self-protection starts with cultivating healthy boundaries online.
Healthy boundaries, like what?
Anna offered crucial advice on recognizing red flags, particularly in online relationships. She emphasized a healthy relationship builds over time. It's not something that happens very quickly and moves very fast.
So pace is a key indicator.
A huge one. She advises taking a step back if things feel overwhelming, or if the pace of emotional intimacy just feels unnatural too fast. This isn't just about spotting a scammer, it's about fostering psychological resilience in all your online interactions.
That makes sense. Being mindful of the emotional tempo. What about technical steps?
Well, for those already vigilant, the recommendation for multiple email addresses might sound
Yeah,
basic.
separate emails for different things.
Right. But its importance can't be overstated. It's not just about being tidy. It's a critical strategy for compartmentalizing risk.
How does that help?
By strictly segmenting your digital identities, maybe one email for social media, another for banking, another for shopping, you create firewalls. If one account gets compromised, the damage is contained. It makes it exponentially harder for attackers to jump from, say, your social media to your bank account.
Okay, so compartmentalizing risk. Good tip. What else on the individual level?
Scrutinizing profiles. We talked about red flags, but also be aware of the common professions scammers often adopt.
Right, you mentioned military, doctors, engineers. Why those?
They aren't random choices. Scammers strategically pick professions like military personnel, often conveniently deployed, seems trustworthy, doctors, especially UN or military ones, engineers, contractors on big overseas projects, explaining absences, and offshore workers, oil rigs, marine engineers.
They all have built-in reasons for being hard to meet or having patchy communication.
Exactly. And they often carry an image of trustworthiness or heroism. The insight for you, the listener, is to question not just the profession itself, but why it might be chosen. It's often a calculated psychological move to lower your guard and explain away inconsistencies or later demands for money.
Got it. Look beyond the surface. What about backstories?
Be alert to common sad backstories. Often they claim to be widowed or orphaned, maybe involving what Anna called the 4 Cs: car crash, childbirth, cancer, or cheated.
Four season.
And more recently, COVID has been added to that list. These stories are designed purely to evoke empathy and manipulate emotions, creating an instant, often unearned bond.
So watch out for those overly tragic, sympathy-inducing narratives. Any visual clues on profiles?
Yeah, be really nosy on the profiles, as one speaker put it. Check the tag sections. Does anyone tag them? Check their follower demographics. Do they seem to match the person's claimed profile? And look for signs that maybe all the photos were uploaded on a single recent date. That's a big red flag for a fake profile.
Good practical tips.
Yeah.
What about clicking links? That seems basic, but crucial.
Absolutely critical. Both Spider and Scorpio issued a strong warning. Don't click on links on your mobile device.
Why specifically mobile?
It's often harder to verify the true destination of link on a phone screen. On a computer, you can usually right-click or hover over the link to see if the address is really what it claims to be, like Instagram.com or whatever link or not.
Ah, okay. Easier to mask malicious links on mobile.
Right. And those malicious links can grab your IP address, device information, even if photos themselves don't contain GPS data anymore because platforms strip it. A bad link is still a major entry point for scammers. It's a simple rule, but incredibly effective. Be suspicious of links, especially unexpected ones.
Okay, so individual vigilance is key. What about beyond the individual? Community actions, reporting?
Yes, community and parental responsibility play a massive role in collective defense. Brett's passionate plea for victims to report crimes is central here,
Why is reporting so vital again?
because doing so provides crucial data for law enforcement. It helps them build cases, understand trends, and perhaps most importantly, it can prevent criminals from escalating because they finally face consequences, or at least know they're on the radar. Every report contributes to that bigger picture.
Makes sense. What about protecting younger people? Kids are online so much now.
Parental vigilance is paramount. The speakers stress the need for parents to talk openly with their children about online dangers, especially concerning popular gaming platforms. Roblox, GTA 5M were mentioned.
Yeah, kids spend hours there.
Exactly. And chat apps like Discord and Telegram. These are known breeding grounds for predators and scammers targeting kids.
It's a scary landscape for parents. Any specific advice given?
The discussion touched upon the severity of the threat, with one suggestion, perhaps extreme but telling, being the idea of returning to brick phones, old-style non-smartphones for basic communication for kids to limit exposure.
Wow, back to basics. That really underscores the concern.
It does, and alongside vigilance, early intervention through education is key.
Educating kids about the risks.
Yes. There was mention of a successful UK pilot program that delivered 22 lessons about all different types of cybercrime and abuse to 13, 14-year-olds, teaching them about online dangers, grooming, sextortion scams, and crucially, how to respond safely.
Starting that education early seems vital. building digital resilience from a young age.
Exactly. Foundational education about online risks and responsible digital citizenship is a vital form of prevention.
So we have individual actions, community reporting, parental guidance, education. What ties it all together?
Ultimately, it comes back to that indomitable power of speaking out.
Sharing stories, breaking the silence.
Yes. Anna and another advocate, Nikki, shared this powerful common belief. If doing this or going public saved just one person from being hurt, it's been worth it.
Wow. That highlights the selfless nature of this advocacy, doesn't it? Transcending personal pain for a larger purpose.
It really does. Transform an individual trauma into this powerful force for good.
And Alberto, the host, what was his take on the role of platforms in this?
He reiterated his heartfelt desire for platforms to essentially step up, to provide us to okay voice and amplify all these, so important to the users of the platform that are basically the potential victims. He wants them to amplify the warnings and the support.
Give voice to the victims and advocates.
Right. And sharing personal stories, even those involving past mistakes like Brett's criminal history or Alberto's own hacking incidents, or moments of vulnerability like Scorpio's experience during grief. It provides invaluable lessons, context, and maybe most importantly, a sense of shared humanity in the face of these digital threats.
It normalizes talking about it, reduces the shame.
Precisely. It's about building a collective intelligence, a shared understanding against these pervasive dangers.
But it's an ongoing battle, right? The landscape keeps shifting.
Absolutely. We have to acknowledge that despite all these efforts, advocacy, education, individual vigilance, the landscape of online crime is constantly evolving, constantly growing, especially with the rapid advancement of AI we discussed. It makes the fight against it an ongoing, continuous challenge that requires constant adaptation from all of us.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, we've journeyed through the intricate mechanics of online scams. But maybe more importantly, we've explored the profound human element.
The vulnerability of victims, the cunning of perpetrators.
And the extraordinary courage and transparency of those willing to share their most personal stories, their mistakes, their traumas, to protect others. We saw how Alberto's, audacious willingness to be an open book created a space where others felt safe enough to be vulnerable to.
Yeah, transforming those personal struggles into a powerful collective defense right there in that live, unpredictable space.
It leaves us with a critical question, doesn't it, for all of us listening? In this increasingly sophisticated digital world where AI is blurring the lines of what we see and hear, how will we truly know who or what to trust?
It's the central challenge.
Yeah. And maybe in a future where synthetic identities and real-time deepfakes make it almost impossible sometimes to discern reality from illusion. Perhaps the most critical skill we need to cultivate isn't just more skepticism, though we need that too.
What else then?
Perhaps it's the renewed courage to foster genuine human connections, even online, to ask the difficult questions, and critically, to truly believe those who bravely step forward to share their authentic truths, no matter how uncomfortable those truths might be.
Trusting the vulnerable voices.
Maybe. It makes you wonder, what does it truly mean to know someone in the digital age? And how will our collective courage, our willingness to share and to listen, shape the very fabric of online interaction moving forward? Something to think about.